What's up, y'all? We back at Queer and Cool. It's your girl, Bree Daddy, and it's finally season 2. We don't have a bad budget anymore because we're shooting from the crib. And I got my girl, Ray, here from Lezchic. If y'all don't know, she's the founder of Lezchic. And if you live in South Florida and you bump coochies, you know what Lezchic is. Come on, y'all. Like, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. First off, tell us where you're from, number one, because I think people will be assuming you're from Miami.
What?
Low key.
Never. I'm too aggressive.
When I met you, I was like, she's not from Miami.
Absolutely
but
not.
Some people be like, oh, yeah. Like, she's from Miami. I'm like, she's not from Miami. Like,
have they heard me open my big ass
that's
mouth?
That's what I'm saying. That's what, like, there's so many transplants out here that I think people think that, like, Miami has a new accent. It don't, boo. Like,
no.
It's not.
I'm from New York.
From New York. What
Bronx,
part?
Castle Hill, Spanish Harlem.
X.
You know.
Oh, shit. And what made you move to Miami?
What didn't make me move to Miami? That was an easier question.
Right.
I was in New York my whole life. It's a beautiful place to be from. I love being from where I'm from.
Yes.
But it's just not a sustainable future.
I feel that. What year did you move down here?
2017.
Okay. And I moved down here 2015. So you had, hold up.
Damn, a minute.
So you've been here since 2017, but when did you kick off with Lezchic?
2018.
You got right to it.
I was serving in South Beach for a while. I was living out there, and I got into events somehow. I don't even know how that started. That was like random.
Right.
But somebody offered me the opportunity, and I just jumped from one extreme to the other and did it.
And when you say someone like offered you the opportunity, like let's dig a little deep. Because listen, we get into the Wikipedia of Lezchic today.
Oh, okay. So all right, if we're gonna we gotta pronounce it correctly. You ready? It's Lezchic.
Lezchic. Okay.
Like,
my bad, y'all. I don't have I don't know how to even roll my R's. I'm not a good Latino. I don't know how to do the annual thing, but what she said.
Said the unwell thing.
Listen, I promise I'm gonna work on it because that's how I feel about when people call me Brianna and shit. But like, listen, I just don't know how to roll my R's.
A lot of people do it. And I don't mind it. I mean, Lezchic, I'll be, Lezchic of Lezchic. That's fine. It's Lezchic. Chic. Like, she's chic.
Okay. I never knew that. Hold up.
The little thing at the end, Instagram won't let me add that, so everybody just reads it as Lezchic.
Listen, us black people are like, Lezchic. We gonna see you at Lezchic tonight. All right, that's it.
Hey, call me what you call me, just call me my name.
I didn't know that. Okay, well, look at that.
A lot of people do it. It doesn't really bother me, but that is how we pronounce it.
Yeah.
Correctly.
Okay, hold up.
So yeah, somebody
y'all know that now. Because I definitely did it. I swear to God. Like, even when I'm out and about.
A lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Even Ice up until like last week.
Even on the mic and everything.
Like you had Lezchic. I'm like, Ice, it's been 6 years, bro. When you gonna pronounce the shit correctly?
Hold up. I'm like, I swear, even any DJs though, like that, like, yo, thank you for coming to.
It happens. It's all right. I'm cool with it.
How did we get here? But okay, well all right. Digging deep.
So someone had reached out to me on Instagram, and this is, I guess they worked for Sidebar at the time. And they were like, hey, we heard that you do lesbian parties. And at this time, I had started the Lezchic Instagram, but I don't even think it was called Lezchic at the time. What was it called? I don't even remember. I don't even remember what it was. But it was supposed to be just like an Instagram as a yellow page kind of thing. So I was trying to look for all the lesbian events because when I came here, there wasn't that much going on.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, where do I go? Where am I hanging out? So once I found the places, I'm like, all right, I want to share this information. So I made the Instagram. I started posting all these flyers. And whomever thought, I guess, that the flyers were my events that I was doing. And they were like, hey, Sidebar wants to do a lesbian night. Are you down? And I was like, absolutely.
Imagine Sidebar being your first opportunity.
That was pretty dope.
Was you overwhelmed? Because I know if anybody, first of all, If y'all look up Sidebar, it ain't there no more. But
it is there, but they've changed management and like names 12,000 times. But
right. But if anybody knew what Sidebar was back in the day, like that was a really big venue. Yeah. It is a big venue. So I can only imagine that being like your first real opportunity. Like how did you like execute that?
That was so strange because the power of social media has changed over the last couple of years so much.
Right.
But it's interesting to me that at that time, it wasn't about how many followers I had or what engagement I had. I probably had less than 500 followers when I did my first event there.
Okay.
And it was the biggest event I've ever done.
How many people?
I had over 700 people there. Over
Girl,
700 people.
What, you had a concert?
It was, yeah, pretty much. The first event is when I brought out everybody. I brought out Haley Arlene, Tiffany Kavari.
Right.
I think that's when Millie came from New York. We had Carissa Ace was there with Touche body painting. Like, I pulled out all the stops for that event. I pulled everybody from everywhere.
And you did that without even, like you said, you didn't have a big following.
No resources.
At all. But you reached out to these folks and...
I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. And a lot of people were supportive of, the vision for Lezchic. And they wanted to be a part of it. And people came from Cali, New York, and they were like, yo, this is dope. Like, we want to do this.
Yes, I remember when you had your first event, and I want to say I was out of town for the very first time you had it, and I remember coming back in town, and that was like, everyone was talking about it. And I was like, yeah. And then you ended up giving me the opportunity for the second event
that was the 90s
at Sidebar
party.
For the 90s party. And that's when I kind of like stepped into the world of DJing for the queer events.
Really?
Like, yes, because I was DJing like at regular places at the time where it's like, it's not neither straight nor queer, it's just here, know. But but that was my first time experiencing DJing for a lesbian event, and boy, do I tell you, the people in my messages, the girls, like even just getting off of my set, like girls were like buying me drinks, and like asking me to go out and stuff, and I'm like,
okay, welcome to Lezchic.
I was like, thank God I'm single, because y'all are ruthless. Like, but I was like, wow, but I think it just showed how much the community needed,
especially at that time. Yes,
especially at that time, like so. Interesting.
It was interesting because I had a lot of people that were born and raised in Miami that knew all these people but hadn't seen them in years.
That's another thing.
So this event literally brought out people that were friends within groups but had lost touch or whatever. So I think that that's what made the biggest impact, bringing all these people that they hadn't seen perform or they hadn't hung out with in so long. It really was like a staple. Like, it just brought everyone together. And it was new. People love new things. So
yep, sure do. And I feel like, at least down here, when you have something that you're like launching that's new, especially an event at a venue like that, especially, it's almost like Miami's one of those one-shot places. So it's like you really killed it, because God forbid it didn't go the way that you wanted it to. Like, I don't know like how things would have went, because I've DJed for so many different kinds of events and noticed that some people would just do a one and done, but you just kept going. Even if you felt like you had a bad event or a good event, you just always kept on going. And I think, the community really needs to applaud you for that, because you just keep going. And I don't really know anyone out here that's as consistent as you. So I do want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
On behalf of the community of Parent Call.
I'll take it.
But what does keep you going?
It's so funny. We were just having this conversation last night with someone we met at the event. And they asked me, why do I keep doing it? Because I'm in a place right now with the events where I'm not really profiting much financially. And it's becoming harder and harder because of how social media is changing, because of coronavirus, because of bills, everything getting expensive. It's hard to keep people. It's hard to keep people engaged and consistently coming out. And I can be consistent off the wall, but if nobody comes, then it doesn't matter how much work I'm putting into it. It has to be a two-way street. So what really keeps me doing it is, one, that we need it. We don't have it. We don't have that consistency. We don't have that platform. And I come from New York, a different background. So what I'm bringing to the table, I know that we don't have. And that's really what pushes me. Like, there's so many things on the side that I'll do one time and I'll give up, or something will frustrate me and I don't want to do it anymore. But this is the one thing, like, I'll fucking curse, I'll cry, I'll break something, I'll be stressed. I put my wife through shit for months.
Right.
But it's the one thing that I wake up and I still want to do the next day.
Congratulations on wifey. Hold up.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll tap into that next. Lay it down, 'cause that's awesome.
We're going to have babies. We're going to have some babies. I'm pressuring the baby thing.
Oh, that's right.
I keep trying to put it on the table.
Give her some Lezchic.
Right. We need some little Lezchics.
I love that for y'all. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
Another thing that's hard to find in the lesbian community down here in Miami, like a consistent love life. So, congrats.
Thank you. It's hard work.
You're really out here doing it.
I'm trying. It's a lot of hard work.
Yes.
One thing people cannot misconstrue is what you see on social media.
Yes.
Is not the reality of anything, whether it be Lezchic, my personal life, me, it doesn't matter. Like, there's a lot of shit that goes on behind, and it's a lot of work. Everything is a lot of work. Anything worthwhile is going to be a lot of work. So.
Amen to that. And mental health wise, how do you keep up? I think that's a real question.
Honey, my mental health be fucked up.
Yeah, I believe it. I've seen you snap a few times, but it's all. I would never forget. Like,
I don't want to see me snap.
I don't even know like what the situation was, but I just remember Ray saying, "So suck my dick, suck my dick."
I believe it. That's
and
my shit.
I just literally was like, "Girl, let me just screen record this because this is literally." A mood, like sometimes you just gotta let it out.
Yes.
So
the stress, it's hard. Mental health is hard. I think one of my biggest events of the year is the circus.
Right. Which
and
is
that
called
the annual Red Affair.
Yes.
And it is stressful. It's stressful. It's stressful because every year it gets more expensive. Every year it gets harder to find a venue.
Right.
Every year somebody fucks up and it falls on me.
Yep.
And it's just a lot of pressure. This last circus, we had over 60 people working with us. Damn. The venue that we worked with completely played the fuck out of us. Like, tried the fuck out of us.
I've heard a couple things about that venue, so...
they tried us. And they're great people, which was so sad to me because I was actually working there full-time as well outside of the circus.
Oh, really? Okay.
As an event organizer there.
Oh, okay.
And I loved them. You know, I felt like, oh, this is a family. I was very committed to the job.
Right.
But then came game day, and it was like I didn't fucking matter, you know? And they had me doing things that were not my job to do. I was at the bar all night, you know, fussing with bottles that people didn't get till 2, 3 in the morning. It was really bad.
Wow.
There was a lot of problems.
Oh, and we know how bottle service rolls.
It was a lot of problems. 2 days before the event, we didn't have a stage. So then when we finally got the stage, the music wasn't attached to sound. So now all these performers are performing at 10 o'clock. They didn't go up till 3 in the morning because we don't got no sound. And I had to get a speaker from somebody else and pay them for. It's a shit show. It's a shit show. So people don't really see that. And I was also talking to Nina about one of my vendors, the psychic. And she's like, it was such a great event. And it's so dope to hear that from so many people because they don't see what's going on, which is great. I don't want everybody to see because then it fucks me up. But
we honestly will never know. Like, just to give you that reassurance, we don't fucking know, girl.
It's a fucking shit show.
And like, even if it is, I'm gonna be honest, I've never heard about that. You know what I'm saying? And I would know, and I would tell you.
Thank you.
From so many ends. I have never heard about it. I was in Philly this year, and some of my friends went, you know, and they all had a good time. So
thank you guys.
And I think that's one thing about our community. We also know we're not perfect. We also know that none of us are doing it. Like, we're not the ones throwing these events. Like, because if someone wanted to go do it, they could have stepped up and did it. And everyone who has tried to step up and do some kind of lesbian or queer, you know, event, like, hasn't been consistent. So I think people understand. But
in that same token, don't deny there's fucking crazy people here in Florida, bro.
It is.
And people will hold you to a certain standard, even knowing that they couldn't do half of what you're doing. Yeah. They will still hold you to that standard just to be that way. That's how they are.
Right.
So it's a lot of people pleasing, and it's a lot of suck my dick at the same time.
Suck my dick. That was like so. I know it wasn't a funny moment, but I was like, yo. I was at my corporate job. I had my AirPods in. I was just looking through, the pages and stuff just because I was like, oh, let's see when the next event is.
And I'm sure that was back when I used to do a lot of stories talking hella shit.
Okay, girl, I used to be calling them out. Like, oh my God. Now, when you put together these events, like I noticed that, which is fine, you have different DJs, you have different performers, you have different vendors and stuff. And I know that that means you have to deal with different personalities a lot. Like, how do you go about, it's kind of like people management. I think people need to remember about when it comes to event organization, project management and people management is a really big thing. So like, what has their experience been like? Like, because I know we're talking about the venues and how they fucked up, but what about the people, the performers, the vendors? Like,
I've never had real issues with the vendors. I have a lot of vendors, high society. Mimi, she's day one. I have a lot of people that have been with me from the beginning, and they're here to be vendors, but they're like, Ray, do you need something? Can I help you with something? So I love my vendors.
Y'all keep doing that.
Yes, please, because we
don't
need
play
that.
with it.
It's interesting that you bring up the personalities because it is difficult to deal with so many people and how they want to be treated as a professional and as a performer, and how I still need my respect as the person who's putting this together.
Yes.
And I've gotten to a couple confrontations with a couple people over the years. More recently, I hired a performer for the circus, and she was quite difficult booking and all that. But behind that, this person is amazing, amazing. And when you actually sit down and have a one-on-one with this person, it's a different thing. But she has to have that wall up because people will fucking try you, you know? And even if somebody is your friend, that'd be the first motherfucker to try you.
Right.
So,
but yeah, listen, I totally understand that because being a DJ, some friends have felt very comfortable with like, like trying to play around whether it comes to my money or like my set or just like lack of information, lack of professionalism. So I guess I do understand why she has had that wall up. So what do you think, or I would say, what do you think would make a good person to work with? Like, what kind of characteristics do you look for when you're working for somebody outside of their talent, of course? Like, what has brought you back? Like, I'm going to bring them back to my next event.
Well, obviously just being a dope character. Like I said, this one female, she might come off a certain way, but when you actually get down to the business and you're hanging out one-on-one, it's a different thing. So no matter how difficult the booking process might be, I will always have her back, because I know what I'm getting and I know who she is. There's no ideal person, but just somebody who people are going to be people. You have to love and accept people for who they are. And that goes even for me, and I just want to work with people that respect me and I give that same respect, I
agree.
That's really what matters the most, because people will use Lezchic as a platform to get somewhere, but they don't give two shits about the organizer doing it, and they will talk to me crazy, like, hello, no.
Yeah, like, and it's wild because, even in my DJing experience, like, I've been one to throw events, and I've also been one to DJ for events, and I feel like when I've been the one that's thrown events, that's where I've dealt with the most disrespect, because I'm dealing with multiple personalities. I'm dealing with the venue. I'm dealing with people that I have performing. I don't really have to deal too much with the DJs, to be honest. I think because of my relationship with other DJs, like I usually hire someone else that I know, like, personally, and that's like the smoothest part for me. But I came across all these personalities. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
It's a lot.
What is going on?
You got your divas. You got
Where are your panties at? Why is it so uptight? Like, what is good? So I commend you for that. Like, so now you're having these events in Fort Lauderdale. What brought you to Broward?
The opportunity. Okay. I mean, I will go wherever they want to plant the seed. I'll do it. I've done New York, I've done Cali, and I will continue, and I would like to branch out and do different places. Hamburger Mary's, out of 20-something venues that I've worked with over the last couple of years, they are the best venue between the staff, the venue. Like, they are just, they're about Lezchic. They're about making this a great lesbian place, staple. Whereas a lot of people want to throw lesbian parties, but they don't want to do what it takes to get us where we need to be. So they gave me that opportunity. We started with the last Friday of the month, and I just thought it was a great place to do a burlesque show for the queer community. So I started with the Gems, and that's really taken off within itself. I think we've only done like 4 events, and it seems to be hitting off very well, so I'm excited about that. And then I had an idea to kind of bring this masculine stud lesbian queer dancers.
Shout out to the masked woman.
That's right. It's a little harder to find here. Not a lot of people are like ready for that. They're not introduced to it yet, but I'm here putting the staple down.
That's good. You know, I think when it comes to masked women, I think the last time I saw like masked women performing is when you had the events at the strip club before the pandemic.
777.
Yeah, that
was the best.
That was fun.
The best. I mean, I've done some great freaking events.
What happened to that venue?
Corona happened to everything.
They shut down?
So Corona happened on March 19th. That was the day of one of my events. Canceled it. They were closed for a while, and then when everything started opening again, they reopened, but it was a whole situation that had happened. One of the DJs messed up their equipment, and they didn't pay for it, so I guess they didn't want me back at that point.
Now they're just scared.
Yeah, which sucks because it's not...
Pussycats.
It's not something I did directly, but it's a liability I have to take for the people hired. So it was a messy situation, and I've reached out a couple times, and they didn't respond back. But then they lost the place, and it went up for sale, and I wanted to buy it, but the way my money's set up, I could not do that.
You would have turned that shit out, but you know what? Right timing.
That's right.
Right timing.
It'll come.
It will come, and if throwing events is already hard, I can only imagine having like a physical place, the licenses.
It's so hard to keep things consistent, even when you're constantly changing it. So imagine having something that's just always that.
Yeah.
It would be very difficult nonetheless. Absolutely.
I feel that. Have you ever, and this might have happened before, I might have not noticed it, and I'm going to assume maybe it was out of state ones, but have you ever partnered with other queer parties and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I'm always down to partner with people.
What has your experience been with that?
Good and bad.
Yeah.
You'll partner with people that see that I have a little bit of a following, and that's what they want. So they're just targeting my following and using my name to get there, and I'm not down for that. But there are people that have been doing their own work,
right?
And they're like, hey, I love what you do, and I'm gonna show you throughout a period of time that there is a mutual respect, and a mutual support. And those are the people I've partnered with. Lori, Las Renas, None Better. They're from New York. P Nasty from Cali. Great people, and I will continue to partner with them whenever there's an opportunity.
Okay, that's good, because I was wondering that, and I figured, I saw you had events in New York before. Now, what has it been like throwing events in New York versus throwing events down here in Miami or South Florida in general, now that you're hitting different areas?
The first event I did in New York was my own.
Okay.
And it was very small. It was small. I maybe had like 100 people there. The next time I did it, I partnered with None. I partnered with Lori. So it was predominantly their crowd. But a lot of people did come to see me. I was performing at that time. So it was dope.
I forgot
throwback.
Performance.
It was throwback life.
Did you have a performance name?
Right.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
But it was cool. It was great. A lot of people came out. They showed love, and it was awesome to partner with people that are just about it, and you don't got to worry about or it was just very easy to partner with these people, and they were awesome to me. But New York does not have the same, at least in my opinion, the same respect or community, that Miami has, even in all of its fuck ups, because Miami's crazy. But it might just be that Miami's a party town as opposed to New York.
That is true.
It never sleeps, but it's not like Miami.
I agree. And that's such a good point, because my friends that have not been to New York or not from New York, that are from down here, they think New York is a totally different space. They think it's the party scene is crazier, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but and I'm like, maybe it's where I've been and stuff, because I grew up in Philly, and I, by way of like New York, going to New York all the time, even now, like I'm just like, I don't know about that, but
my best days in New York were house party days. Those were the best.
Oh,
those
I remember
were the best.
I remember house parties.
But for the lesbian community specifically, there's not too much going on in New York. I mean, maybe more so now that people are doing a lot more, but they're all events, you know?
Right.
You have Henrietta's and Stonewall that have been staples for many, many years, but you know how that goes.
Yeah,
so.
I can imagine that. What is your vision when it comes to your brand? Because I feel like at this point it's a brand. Like you have your merch, so make sure y'all check out her website. You have the events, like you given other people platforms. You are going to different cities, like, and I don't even know if there's more that I'm even missing. But like, what is the vision?
I just wanted to blow up. I want it to be whatever it can be.
Right.
I don't even know, because when I started, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I love that.
So I could not say like, oh, I want to be in an event. No, it just happened, and it turned into this, and then it turned into a strip club, and then it turned into a dog brunch, then it turned into burlesque.
Oh my God, the dog brunch.
It turned into so many things. So.
Oh my God, that's so true. Oh, you are really bringing me back, because that just goes to show. Yes, you're right. At I don't know if it's called Sequel or SQL or something,
SQL.
but I remember you had there. You've had events at Blackbird, down in Miami Beach when they had Purdy Lounge. Oh my God,
that was a good time.
You really was hitting these spots.
Back when I was doing that, I was doing Sidebar, Purdy Lounge, and Sweet Liberty 3 days a week. Like back to back to back. It was insane. It was. It wasn't even logical. Like, who's gonna party this much? But I was just like, whatever you got, give it to me. Let's go.
Like,
it was dope.
And how were you established without like giving too many gems away? Because you could also sell this information. You never know. I'm just saying.
Hey, you could give the recipe, but ain't nobody got the flavor.
Exactly. No, I'm one of those people where I'm like, wait a minute, I might be able to like teach people how, flip a little something, do a little something, but. Like, did you just go into these places and just like tell them your vision and stuff?
Yes,
like,
I'm a very, especially after a couple Prosecco's, I'm like, where's the manager? I can throw an event here.
I'm gonna have my shit here.
But it was just all really opportunities that were given to me, and I was just taking them and running and doing with what I can. I think I got all of those opportunities because I did Sidebar, and whoever worked at Sidebar worked with those venues as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it was dope. It just, there wasn't a platform for lesbian events at those venues.
Right.
So it was great while it lasted for like 2-3 events.
It's not even a platform for lesbian events, period, except yours, to be honest. And I know She Life, shout out to She Life.
Shout out to Jackie, absolutely.
I go to basketball every Thursday, and someone's always twisting their ankle, and I'm just like, wow. And it's such a positive vibe that even when they twist their ankle, we're like, but we're so glad to be here.
It's because we need it, man. Yes. We definitely need it.
How do you promote I always say this word wrong, but like inclusivity, like in your events?
That's been difficult.
I've seen you do it though. Like I respect it, because I think when it comes to Miami, as much as it's diverse, it can sometimes feel divided. And I like that, like you've done like the Afro Beats events, or like the DJs you have, they tend to play different music. Like, but like outside of that, because I'm not at every single event, like how have you been able to promote that?
It's been difficult on both ends. Because I'm a lesbian organization and I cater to women, it's been difficult to promote inclusivity with gay men, trans, like it's very difficult because people
non-binary
are like,
people,
they're like, well, is this a lesbian event? Well, can my gay guy friend go, or are trans people allowed? Or we don't feel represented. So it's been through every event I've done over the years, it's a major part of like, okay, this is my staff, what's the diversity? Has to be diverse. People have to feel like they see themselves in this event for them to want to attend. So that's always on my mind first and foremost.
Right.
And then just with the music, like I said, I come from New York, so EDM and house is big in New York. It's just not my style. Yeah. So we don't do EDM or house.
I'm glad. Thank God. You know what?
We don't do that. That's the one. I'll do rock. I'll do an emo night, but I can't do EDM and house. And there's already so many platforms for that.
Oh, I'm so glad you said it.
I'm able to, bring Afro beats and different genres of music together. And one of the things that I pride Lezchic about is that it is very diverse.
It is.
In a place where prior to me coming here, the lesbian community was very separated, by nationalities in different groups. So I came and my intention with every event is to build a bridge. And that bridge goes to New York, it goes to California, it goes wherever it can go, wherever I can get somebody to come in and really bring in that diversity that we need. It can't just be one thing.
Yeah, I like that. And I do want to thank you for that because I do feel like even being a Black woman or, I'm half Latino, but I'm a presenting Black woman. And when I step into events, if they're super, we know colorism is in our community, white Latinas, Black Latinas. If I step into a venue that's very EDM and then it's a bunch of white Latinas, I might not feel comfortable.
Right.
Even if they are Hispanic, they're still white Latinas and it's very white music playing. So I might feel like an outcast. So I do like that when I step into your events, I feel like, oh my God, I feel like I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? Like I catch a vibe. Be like, the crowd is always diverse, like from head to toe. And I do love that. Some nights could be more Hispanic. Some nights what might not be, but I don't feel like, left out at your events.
Thank you.
As in the past, before you had your events, being honest, I did feel left out. So I was like, okay, there's new lesbian events. How's it going? And I'm glad that you had the diverse, community there. So I think that that's important because it's finally bringing back what Miami is all about, diversity, and it doesn't feel so divided. And honestly, I remember when I went to your Afrobeats event and there were people who came in from the Bahamas. And I was like, that is heavy.
Orlando, New York, California. A lot of people came in for that event. I was
really surprised at the people who came from the fucking Bahamas. Like, they got on the boat, Off the plane. Anyone can get on the plane. They got on the boat.
I actually think I know who you're talking about. They were dope.
It was like a group of girls. First I saw them at the bar, and then they were sitting right outside of... it was at 1-800-LUCKY, but right at the tables outside coming from the cafeteria area. And we just all talking. I was like, that's so cool that y'all came here.
That always makes me the happiest.
That's just amazing.
So people tell me I flew in, I came from here, there.
Yeah.
They do a lot for the circus. A lot of people fly in, a lot of people come from different places. It's always so wholesome for me, always.
So let's talk about the wholesome moments before they think y'all ass is about to give in. What? She's this close. But what has been the most wholesome moments for you outside of that, of course?
One of my favorite moments, hands down, was at Sidebar. Claudia Sings was performing.
Shout out to Claudia.
Shout out to Claudia.
I love her voice.
She's the bomb.
Yeah, she killed it.
She was performing, and this is back when Halsey did the, what's that damn song? Tell me how bad. And that was my shit.
Listen, I love me some white people music, but I forgot about. I don't even know back then, girl.
But it was a hit. It was a little jam, a little bop on the radio, and that was my shit. So Claudia decided to sing it, and she pulled me on stage when she sang it. And this was during the circus, the first circus I did at Sidebar. And everybody, and there was at least 400 people there. Everybody pulled out their phone and put the flashlight.
Oh
and
my
everybody was
God.
And I felt like a fucking superstar. I was like,
yes.
oh, wow, this is so good. That will forever be hands down one of my favorite moments.
Oh my God. The history that you have made here. It's those moments. Because I feel like that even just about whether it's podcasting, DJing. I have an app out now. Y'all might download Gem. We'll get into that little commercial. But it's always the wholesome moments that do make you keep going. Because if I just focus on the negative, I'm not going to focus on what's right in front of me. And it's this opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm glad that I asked you that because I don't want people to ever feel like, oh my God, what are we going to do without her? She's not I agree. And honestly, how I came across Claudia was at your events. So it's just amazing how you've connected even creators. That's big. And I hope that you realize what impact you've not just impacted the people that go to your events and want to have a good time, but there's people with talent out here that didn't have a platform, and you was able to create a platform. Like, girl.
And that was the intention. That was really the intention behind Lezchic. There's so many queer women out here doing so many amazing things. And even outside of that industry, the lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, like so many women doing so many amazing things. And if we come together and put it all on the table, I mean, really wow at what you can do with that, right? So that's the focus over the years, to kind of have everyone networking and building up this platform for us.
Right. I love that. I love that. Now let's get into your wife. Okay. How did you meet your wife?
I stalked her on Instagram for a couple months. I was sliding up in those DMs, just sliding.
Period. Period.
With my whole New Yorkness, you know.
Okay, we better talk about it.
I was trying to talk to her for a while, and she was doing other things at the time. And she didn't pay me no mind. But a couple months or whatever down the line, we started speaking again, and it's interesting because I had reached out to her when I moved out here. And I was like, all right, well, she's a fine lesbian. She got to know what to do out here.
Okay, so this is a minute.
Oh, yeah, literally, 2017. And she was like, ain't shit. Ain't shit out here. So then when we started talking again, I had already done Lezchic and had a couple events. So it was, she tells me at least, that it was interesting for her to see that growth over that time.
That growth. Oh my God.
I did it. I really did. I was like, well, if y'all don't got nothing, I'm going to be it.
And has having her by your side, pronouns was the
her,
pronouns.
yes.
Okay, just making sure. Don't want to assume. Because my ass be getting cussed the fuck out. I'm like, all right!
All the time.
I didn't mean it. Shit. But has having her by your side help you like power up in your entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. I mean, I've dated a couple people out here, all great people, and they've all been around an event or two and been extremely helpful. So I can't deny it that there's been other helpful people in my life. But with my wife specifically, she is the rock under the bullshit. Because, I mean, the circus alone, like, I feel bad for her during circus time because I'm
stressed.
100% bitch mode. Like, it's just so much going on, you know? And it's easy to not necessarily take it out, but to kind of pour it all on somebody that's around all the time, which can be very draining and frustrating and overwhelming for her. But we're learning how to work through that, and I'm learning how to take it back a couple of notches.
That's beautiful. But that's good that you're able to do that, because that just shows that you can be an entrepreneur and you can still have a powerful relationship.
It's difficult.
Even if it's hard, like, you guys literally make it work. And I think that that's so important, because I only see so many people in this community that do that. I mean, I see entrepreneurs in general that might be like cisgender and stuff, but like, to see you and your wife doing it, like, I've always been impressed with that. And honestly, the only one I've remembered is her. So
she's the only one that matters.
She's the only one that matters. Sorry.
She's very, very helpful. A lot of people will go up to her during the events and they're hitting her with all this stuff, and she's like, and she gets it. She's like, I'm not Lezchic. This is not my thing. It's my girl's thing. I'm like, no, it's our thing now. It's very much our thing now.
Because what's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. I love that. Well, as we wrap up, my last question would be, truly, if you had 3 cities to throw your next event at, or events at, outside of South Florida, what would they be?
The UK somewhere.
Period. This is manifestation time.
Hell yeah, the UK somewhere. I would love to go to San Francisco.
That's a big community out there.
I would definitely like to do something Spanish. I don't know if it would necessarily be Puerto Rico, but something over there.
Puerto Rico would be, I feel like Puerto Rico would be good.
Puerto Rico's growing now. They're doing a lesbian festival, and there's some people from over here that are rumored to be going over there and doing some things. So any way that I could get in, trust me, I'll be there.
Well, that's why
Lezchic on tour.
That's why we had to do the manifestation, because I could see us now creating this oral history, and you know, a few years from now, or who knows, even a year from now, you might get those opportunities. I'm be like, we said this. We said this. Well, as we wrap it up, I want to thank Ray for really just coming all the way to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
To record in the Queer and Cool home. And is there any shout outs you want to give?
Yes, shout out to you for having me. Shout out to you for being there day one when I did that event and helping us out. But, you know, that's still day one pretty much. That shit was how many years ago?
I know.
And you know, shout out to DJ Ice, who's been with me time and time again, who's always manning things down. I'm just very grateful for everybody. If I work with you still to this day, shout out to you.
Okay. Because otherwise, suck my dick.
On that one.
Oh, that was my favorite part. Any merch dropping? Do you have merch still?
Baby, come here. Come for a second. Come on, you got it on. So I'm working on some hoodies.
Yes.
This is my all-star right here.
What does that say?
Lint liquor?
Little lint liquor? Carpet muncher?
Come over here, baby. You want to sit on my lap, daddy?
See, in front of the fireplace and all. Oh, I like this.
Lint liquor.
And then I always remember that hat.
And it's a couples one. So the girls, the femme is yellow and the stud is red.
I'm going to have to cop a hoodie. Is it out?
Yeah, it's on that side. Boom, boom.
Oh my
I haven't
God,
released them yet because we going into summer, but they'll be out for a winter collection.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to grab mine because, I mean, it don't really matter. You see, I'm wearing I love
that is a fly ass hoodie.
It is fly.
Come show, and the hat, you know, we got all the Lezchic hats from day one.
Where the Lesbies go, period. Little lint liquor, carpet munchers, little hoes.
So we gonna release the merch soon.
I can't wait. All right, and where can I find that?
Lezchic.com. Lezchic.com, you'll be able to find the Playboys, the Gems, our Queer Girl Initiative, the merch, everything I got going on pretty much. I try to stay updated. So perfect. I'm going to be in mine, and I hope to see y'all at her next event. She's having one March 10th. March 10th and March 28th are next.
Perfect, and it's Pisces season, so.
Okay, birthday girl. You coming out?
Y'all know, I'm
you
coming
get
out.
Some booty clapping?
I want to see all you lint liquor there at Lezchic. Okay, for my black folks,
thank you.
We'll see you there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.